What is going on, trainers? DrumVillain here, bringing you some more Pokemon Go PvP content, and in today's video we're taking a look at an Ultra League team, and this isn't just an Ultra League team, it's also an Ultra League remix team. It works in both. In today's video I'm going to show you a set in both of them from this season in which it does pretty well, and bear in mind that at the ELO rating we're currently at, just about everyone that we're battling is a legend rank trainer from previous seasons. These are all very skilled battlers using very hard meta lines. A lot of them are all XL lines as well, because the Ultra League is heavily dominated by those XL Pokemon now, and this team does hold its own. But also bear in mind that this team does include XLs itself. I do think to be competitive in the hard meta of Ultra League, in either league you're going to need XL Pokemon. That's just the way it is, unfortunately. It really is tough, and it's especially tough that even the Remix Cup, because the Ultra League XL Pokemon are still so hard to obtain, they still have that problem where they've banned the most meta non-XL Pokemon, things like your Giratinas, your Cresselias, your Swampert, things that are very, very strong but are more accessible, which means that the hard meta is even harder to touch because you have to just have those XL Pokemon to keep up with them. It's a really tough position, but it's just what we've got to deal with and learn to adapt to at the moment. If you are looking to climb, like right now in ranking, and you're wondering which one to play and you don't have access to many of these XL Pokemon, I do recommend you go to the Open Ultra League. It's slightly more forgiving there because a lot of the times you'll be dealing with Giratinas and Cresselias, and they are still very common and there is still a very tough method to deal with, but it's slightly easier to keep up with if you haven't got those XL Pokemon. Now, before we take a look at today's team, I just wanted to quickly share with you guys that I was lucky enough to pull this. I got a shiny Druddigon from the research tasks that it was available in. I've now got a hundo of these things and a shiny. I might max out the hundo for Master League, I might not. It's pretty much just a worse Haxorus. Got the similar moves, but not as good stat product. But it might be interesting just to take a look at it and see how much work it can put in. If that's something you do want to see, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you're going to get notified when I do max out that Druddigon and put it in the Master League, and you guys can see how it performs for yourself. And let's take a look at today's team. On the lead, we've got Scrafty. This is a 100% IV Scrafty I was lucky enough to get from a trade. You can use one with lower attack and power it up more levels to get more bulk out of it if you want in the Ultra League. But a hundo works just fine. You still got to get it to around level 45, I think, to be close to that 2500 CP limit, but it does put in a lot of work for you. Now, on the save swap / in the back, we've got Trevenant. Trevenant, again, is one of those that can be XL if you want it to be, or you can take a PvP spread with low attack and get a bit more bulk out of it. Either works fine, but you're probably going to want to XL it a little bit just to get those stats out of it, since I think a normal hundo at level 40 isn't quite 2500 CP. I could be wrong on that. And then also in the back, we've got Galarian Stunfisk. We call him Wilson Stunfisk, a bit of a Spider-Man reference because he is an absolute unit, can take so much punishment. It's incredibly bulky, very, very strong moveset. And if you've seen it in the Great League, it's even stronger in the Ultra League. It is disgusting. So of course we've got to have it on this team if we're going for hard meta. Bear in mind that Stunfisk, you do need 100% IV. A level 50 100% Galarian Stunfisk is only 2445 CP, so the closer you can get to a hundo, the better if you're going to be investing that many XL candies in one. Now let's jump into some battles. This first set is in the Open Ultra League, and then there'll be a set in the Ultra League Remix to show you guys how that does play out. Okay, so first lead we're going to talk about Talonflame, and this is a lead you're only going to have to worry about in the Open Ultra League. It is banned in the Remix, and this might seem like a really bad lead in general for Scrafty, but I don't think it's too bad. As long as they don't throw a Brave Bird, you don't shield the first move. They very rarely throw a Brave Bird, and if they do, I think you just got to kind of take it on the nose, bring in Stunfisk and try and take it out with a Rock Slide. But in general, you don't want to swap out because you can't get Trevenant aligned with this thing while it's got shields. It's going to go really badly for you. I like to throw a power-up punch, shield the second move, which means they're likely to shield the second power-up punch, and then you throw a foul play, which takes them out. Generally, if you only have to land one foul play and a power-up punch to take them out, but they're a little bit iffy as and when they shield. They can put a lot of work in, and you have a bad time farming them down if you don't take them out with Scrafty. So I generally like to go for a power-up punch, then shield, then throw another power-up punch, then throw a foul play. That's tends to be my go-to. It sounds a little complicated when you say it like that, but trust me, it works out a lot of the time. A lot of people do not want to double shield their Talonflame against a Scrafty, and then you're often in a very good position because a team that leads Talonflame in the Ultra League often doesn't have the strongest answer to a Trevenant in the back. This player actually has a Venusaur and a Sylveon, which are aligned perfectly for us. Trevenant does well against Venusaur, Stunfisk does well against Sylveon. Sylveon can put in a surprising amount of work because it's quite bulky and the charm is just so oppressive even when it's this resisted. But still, we're going to be able to take this win. We do shield the last resort, which might seem like a silly move, but also it is just because Stunfisk is so important at that point. It is our win con, and if they shield up and we don't, there's a chance they might be able to graft us down. Okay, Nightmare Lead, right? Ninetales. Wrong. It depends on the move set. You stay in and see what they've got. If they've got Powder Snow, you stay in with Scrafty because you cannot swap Trevenant into this. You would imagine against a low in Ninetales, you safe swap Trevenant and then hopefully line up Stunfisk with it later. But if it's a Powder Snow, a low in Ninetales, which a lot in the Ultra League are, Trevenant's going to have a worse time than Scrafty is. And Scrafty can put in a lot of work with those counters, with that power-up punch. Like, yeah, we're going down a shield, but look at the graph we're doing here. They did bait us with the Weather Ball, so we're going to shield this up because it's almost certainly the Dazzling Gleam, which it is, and now they swap out to Machamp. We're going to build up some energy before we swap out to Trevenant, and I don't know if that was the brightest move because giving Shadow Machamp a lot of energy is a little bit scary, but it does mean that we've got that energy stored, we've got a foul play for something potential in the back. Trevenant's going to get some work done on this Machamp. We're not quite going to be able to farm them down before they get to a second Rock Slide because we did give them so much energy, and I think we consider coming back in with Scrafty here. I think we might do and just throw the power-up punch straight away. This tempts them to shield and use that last shield up, which they actually do, which is brilliant for us. And now they do counter us down, but we can just mud shot down. They don't have any more energy. We knew they couldn't get to a move, and now they've got Empoleon. And this seems super scary, but we had one mud shot lead from taking out that Machamp, and that one mud shot means we get to an Earthquake first. Bang! One shot Empoleon. And then we just got to get to a Rock Slide and take out the Ninetales. A Weather Ball wouldn't have taken us out at that range. It would have needed to get to 2. This is going to be a G. G against what should have been an impossible line to win against there. If we'd have immediately panic swapped to Trevenant against the Ninetales, they could have stayed in, won that matchup, got the Machamp lined up against the Scrafty, and got their Empoleon against our Stunfisk, and we'd have been in for a very bad time. Okay, Swampert. Pretty neutral matchup. And obviously Trevenant is a very hard wall to Swampert. It resists all the moves except for Sludge Wave, and not many Swamperts in Ultra League run Sludge Wave, especially in Open Ultra League where they're going to be dealing with Giratinas. But the good thing about keeping it against Scrafty here is that it stays away from Stunfisk, and you often again find yourself in that position where a Swampert lead is weak to Scrafty in the back because they're there to take out Steel types and deal with those hard walling Pokemon. And you find a lot of Swampert leads might have something charmy in the back to deal with Giratina, which you definitely want to keep away from Scrafty. They're actually going to let the Swampert go down and bring in a Stunfisk, and I think they underestimate this farm down and how much damage this Scrafty is going to do. Look at the work it's putting in. It's smashing Stunfisk to pieces, getting to another power-up punch. This is going to pressure them to shield potentially. We don't get the shield. So we've got switch advantage, we've got a shield. Scrafty has taken out Swampert and taken out pretty much entire of Stunfisk. Going to bring in Trevenant and farm down, see what they want to do. And the opponent's going to surrender. They don't want to mess. They don't even want to know what we've got in the back. We don't need to see what they've got in the back. It's all good. G. Alright, next matchup we've got a Trevenant Lead. And this is a pretty good lead for Scrafty. You're resisting the Shadow Claws and the Shadow Ball, and you've got Foul Play to threaten. But this opponent swaps out into their own Scrafty. And Scrafty is probably one of the more difficult Pokemon for my team to deal with because Galarian Stunfisk struggles against it. And as we've just said, Trevenant struggles against it because the foul play is quite threatening and Scrafty is resisting the Shadow Claws and Shadow Balls. So we actually have to stay in and give up the matchup of having our Scrafty against their Trevenant. It's not worth shielding up power-up punches, I don't think. It's more worth making sure you potentially line up our Trevenant with theirs for another mirror match just to deal with it, and then hope that we've got something that Stunfisk can handle in the back. They actually bring in a lower Ninetales and this is super unfortunate. If we'd have brought in Stunfisk here, we'd have been in a much stronger position, because then we'd have had Stunfisk against this Ninetales and then a Trevenant mirror match, and we should have been able to come out on top of that with the advantage that we would get from how much Stunfisk destroys a lower Ninetales by. So we got a catch on Stunfisk, which we do. We catch a weather ball, which is pretty nice for us. Let's see what this opponent wants to do, and they're going to try and catch a rock slide, and honestly we're going to have to throw rock slides at this Trevenant anyway. Now it's here, so it wouldn't have mattered if we did throw and they did catch. And we're just going to build up some more energy before we do throw. But we're in a bit of a tough spot here, and I think either we need to come out of this with enough health on Stunfisk to get a shield out of the Ninetales, or we have to come in with Trevenant and farm down their Trevenant and have enough energy to threaten the Ninetales that way. But either way, we're in a bit of a tough position just because of that unlucky call. The opponent makes a very good shout and lets us take them out while we don't have enough health on Stunfisk to put any work in, so the Ninetales can get some more energy, and they're going to get to 2 weather balls and take us out. We were quite close to 2 seed bombs, but realistically we need to land a shadow ball at that health range to take them out anyway. So we're in a tough spot just because of that unlucky 50-50 split on what to bring in after that initial matchup. GG. Alright, so last matchup in the Open Ultra League, and then let's see what we pull in the remix afterwards. So we've got a Manabus Lead here, and once again, this is one of those matchups that might not seem ideal, but it actually is. You definitely want to keep Trevenant away from Manabus. Manabus is a very hard wall, having that dark and flying typing. And Scrafty does pretty well against Manabus, especially if the Manabus is running Snarl and not Air Slash. Because it's running Snarl, which is double resisted, the only damage output they have is Aerial Ace. And as we all know, Aerial Ace is a terrible move. So as you can see, we can start really putting some work in with these counters and power-up punches. We're kind of keeping pace with the damage here, just with power-up punches, and we're timing our throw in just to make sure they don't sneak any extra snarls in, because that can start to put us on quite a back foot. And I think here we're going to shield and see what the opponent wants to do. Now we're going to let it go. We might just survive this and get to this power-up punch, and this means if this opponent doesn't shield, we're going to take them out and take switch advantage in the 0 shield. They actually sneak a snarl and throw before we can get one more counter, which is a little bit weird, a little bit lag BS kind of thing, but we're still happy with that. We're going to bring in Trevenant and farm down with Shadow Claw, just because we weren't expecting them to have any hard answers to Trevenant in the back, but it turned out they did. They had a damn Talonflame, which is absolutely awful for us. We swapped to Stunfisk and they've got an Empoleon. So it might seem like, once again, that losing switch advantage is going to cost us this game. But here's where you're wrong. You're going to see the work that this team can put in right here, right now. Trevenant is here to go on a rampage. We're not expecting them to shield, so we're going to go straight for the Shadow Ball to hopefully take them out. We're not quite able to, but we're able to get the farm down. So we've got a shield advantage and we've got energy. Now, can Trevenant take this win? We got to shield this no matter what it is. It will take us out. Flame Charge, gonna do, you know, it would have done massive damage, and now these Incinerates are hitting for harder. Can we get to 2 Shadow Balls? And will this Shadow Ball plus a Shadow Claw damage be enough to take them out? With this has to finish them off, otherwise we are going to lose this game. It's going to be super close. Bang! That Shadow Ball hits like a truck, takes out the Talonflame, and we take the win. GG to that opponent. I was not expecting Trevenant to actually be able to do that much damage with the Shadow Ball, but I was wrong to underestimate him. Absolutely amazing finish for a game that seemed lost. Able to take a 4-1 in the Open Ultra League, and an interesting thing you might have noticed is that we didn't see a single legendary Pokemon in that Open Ultra League set. Despite how strong legendary Pokemon are, it's still more heavily dominated by the XLs at the rating that we're at. So now this set is in the Ultra League remix, so this is with the ban list for this season, including Giratina, Cresselia, Swampert, Talonflame. And we pull a Stunfisk Lead, which is brilliant for Scrafty. Scrafty puts in a lot of work. And this opponent swaps out into a Jellicent. And they must be hoping that we're going to swap out of this matchup. But Jellicent doesn't do well against Scrafty. It really struggles to put the work in. We have Foul Play to threaten for massive damage. We get a nice chunk of lag here, which isn't ideal. We're going to be able to throw another Foul Play. And we don't mind if this is a Bubble Beam and it debuffs us. We're still going to be able to take out this Jellicent, no worries. You see the Bubble Beam is doing nothing, the Hex is doing nothing, And we're probably going to win this matchup and then swap out, because we know that Trevenant can do okay against Stunfisk, and our Stunfisk does well in a mirror match. Now the opponent actually brings in an Alolan Ninetales for a split second, which means really we should have swapped straight to Trevenant and not to our Stunfisk, because then it still would have tempted them to swap out, but it means we could have staved our Stunfisk for that Ninetales. But we think that Trevenant's going to be able to do okay against Alolan Ninetales all the same, regardless of what fast move it's running. This opponent's going to get to a Rock Slide here. We're going to let it go through. We survive, able to get another Earthquake off. And this is the thing, normally Stonefist can just survive an Earthquake in the Great League, but then cannot take a Rock Slide afterwards, whereas in the Ultra League, you can. And here they're going to swap out immediately into their Alolan Ninetales, start getting ahead on energy. And that charm is chunking Trevenant. Well, we got the shields. We can take these weather... Well, we can't take the weather balls, but we can shield them up. And now we're going to be able to get to 2 Shadow Balls. And one of these going through should be enough to take out the Ninetales. We get the shield. You can see the Shadow Claws are slowly chipping away as well, so they're definitely in Shadow Ball range here. This will take them out, and then either Scrafty or Trevenant can take care of the little bit of health that this Stunfisk has left. Shadow Claw them down, take the win. GG. The reason we didn't swap to Trevenant against the Jellicent is because behind on energy, Trevenant can struggle in that matchup if they're running Hex, which they were. Since they're both Ghost, they are actually weak to each other, and that can be a bit of an iffy matchup, and you're a lot more pressured to give up shields. Whereas staying in with Scrafty, we definitely weren't pressured to give up shields and could take full advantage of that matchup. Alright, next game, we got more XL Pokemon. We've got a Nidoqueen on the lead, and this is quite tough for this team to deal with. Stunfisk does okay, but still has to watch out for the Earth Power. Scrafty struggles because the Poison typing is resisting the fighting. And Trevenant can do okay against Nidoqueen as well. It might be tempting to swap out. I think, yeah, we're going to throw a Foul Play, get some nice chip damage, and then swap to Trevenant so that they're pretty much in Seed Bomb range. Just to keep ahead of the game a little bit, because if we swap straight to Trevenant, they'd be more pressured to stay in and see that full matchup through. Whereas we let them throw one Poison Fang, get a debuff on Scrafty, then clear it, and kind of keep the pressure high. Now they're going to bring in their own Trevenant, and we're just going to go for double Seed Bomb after we've built up enough energy for a Shadow Ball initially to force a shield and get some chip damage. Now we're going to bring in Scrafty. Might as well use Scrafty here rather than saving it for the Nidoqueen, since it's going to have a harder time there. And they are going to throw back-to-back Seed Bombs. This is a little bit rough. This means we're probably not going to be able to get to a Foul Play before they farm us down. So we're going to swap to Stunfisk, start getting some energy, and now we're really on the back foot, because even though we've got such a good matchup against the Nidoqueen, who knows what they've got in the back. We were hoping that was another Seed Bomb, and it wasn't. It's a Shadow Ball, hits us for massive damage, and now we're really floundering because we're pretty much going to have to shield nearly anything this opponent throws at us. They bring in a Lapras, and we might have been in a reasonable position here if we would have shielded up the Shadow Ball from Trevenant, maybe not. We were hesitant to give up shields because we didn't know what they had in the back, and we were depending on that shield advantage being our win condition. Now we tried to catch. You see, we tapped on Scrafty and tried to catch a move. We weren't able to do it. So now I think we're going to shield this up, throw a fast move, no, we should have swapped straight to Scrafty then to catch this second Surf. I'm going to catch this move. No, sorry, we're going to shield it up. And then Nidoqueen comes back in. And we were going to build up and try and throw a Rock Slide, though that wouldn't have taken them out. We needed to land an Earthquake on the Lapras, really. Oh, we're still able to get this off, though. It's a Rock Slide. Able to get it through. We survived the Poison Fang, but it's not going to matter. We're going to get farmed down, and this Nidoqueen's going to handle us. We need to get this farm down and then get an Earthquake on the Lapras, which we're very close to getting, actually. Surprisingly close game. If we'd have got one more Mud Shot through and got the Earthquake off on the Lapras, we might have taken that win. Nidoqueen really does struggle against Stunfisk. That poison damage, I think, is triple resisted, which is absolutely ballistic. But a tough matchup for us to deal with all the same. And speaking of tough matchups, we've got a Crowbar Lead here, running Air Slash as a fast move. This is pretty rough for us. The Air Slash is super effective. They're double resisting the counters. The Foul Play, you can see, does a massive chunk of damage since there is a Shadow Crowbar, so it is not as bulky as a non-Shadow would be. They hit us with a Poison Fang, and now they're going to be able to farm us down nearly. We're just able to get to this Foul Play, and this either forces a shield or gives a switch advantage. They are going to shield. And now we're going to bring in Stunfisk. We don't want to bring in Trevenant to this thing. We're going to assume this is a Poison Fang, let it go. It is, that's brilliant. I believe Crowbar does have access to Shadow Ball, but we're not going to give him the chance to get to it and see. We're going to throw a Rock Slide straight away, take them out. Now I think we're going to swap, yeah, we're going to swap straight away, clear the debuff that we have, and they actually have a Machamp in the back. This gives us a win condition. Trevenant's got a shield. Can it take out this Mew? If they don't shield this, it's going to one-shot, and the game is pretty much ours. Bang! Mew gets smashed to pieces, and now they're stuck. If they had have shielded that up, we could have still taken out the Mew with Stunfisk, got to an Earthquake as well against the Machamp, and still probably taken the win. So their win condition was to call a Seed Bomb bait, whereas if we go straight Shadow Ball, we're pretty much guaranteed to win just through getting the shield or one-shotting either way. Alright, second to last matchup, what does No Mercy have for us? They've got a Stunfisk, that's a fantastic lead for us. They swapped a Noctowl, and this must be a level 50 maxed out Hundo Noctowl because it does not hit 2500 CP. So this is an expensive Pokemon to build, but a lot of them are for the Ultra League. And since it got access to Shadow Ball this season, it has got some solid coverage. As you can see, it does big damage against Galarian Stunfisk, and it can take 3 Rock Slides because it's that bulky, which means this Noctowl can actually go toe-to-toe with Stunfisk, which is absolutely crazy to consider that a flyer can go toe-to-toe with Stunfisk. That isn't Pelipper, I suppose. Pelipper does pretty well against Stunfisk, but we're going to have to go for another Rock Slide pretty much straight away to threaten to take them out. They get a shield out of them because they know they can get a shield out of us now with just Sky attacks, as they're now threatening to take us out. Now, Noctowl doesn't outpace Stunfisk. I think it might be 6 wing attacks per Sky attack they have to throw, whereas we only have to throw 5 mud shots for a Rock Slide, so we will get to the move slightly faster. They bring in Stunfisk, and I think they underestimate that we'd overcharge on energy slightly. So if they think this is a Rock Slide, it's going to do big damage. Bang! Absolutely smash Stunfisk to pieces. Now we can bring in Scrafty and farm this Stunfisk down and see what they've got in the back. They throw an Earthquake, does big damage, and they've got a Manabus, an Air Slash Manabus. And this is really, really bad for us. Manabus is an absolute wall to Trevenant. It's probably the only thing they could have had in the back that Scrafty and Trevenant between them would really struggle to handle. We really needed Stunfisk to deal with this, but also we needed Stunfisk to deal with the Noctowl. So really we were very much stuck against this double flying strategy, and I wouldn't have expected to lose to a double flying team in the Ultra League when Talonflame is banned, but here we are. This Manabus is going to be able to put all the work in and just smash us to pieces. They're going to get to another foul play and take us out here. We didn't have enough energy to take them out. We would have had to probably land a Shadow Ball, and even that might not have been enough then. So GG to that opponent. Just got us on the hard line in the back. Not much we could do there. So we're going to jump into the last matchup that I've got for you guys today. Let me know what you think of the team down below, if you're trying it out for yourself, or if you got any spicy picks you want me to give a try while Ultra League is here. And let's jump into this last battle. Drapion Lead is pretty solid for Scrafty. The fighting damage is chipping away with neutral damage. You've got quite a lot of bulk to take those poison moves, and Drapion's just going to really struggle to get you down. They're going to swap out to a Ho-Oh, so we're going to obviously bring in Stunfisk. Well, we're going to throw a foul play first because Ho-Oh's very, very squishy. And then we're going to swap to Stunfisk because we've got a shield out of them now. And with a shield advantage, you can pretty much guarantee winning this matchup, because although you have to shield the Earthquake, they have to shield the Rock Slide because it's double super effective and will definitely take them out. So we're looking to be in a very strong position here in this game, because they've got Drapion and Ho-Oh, which are good matchups against Trevenant, and we're going to be able to keep Trevenant away from both of them. So there's a good chance Trevenant can handle whatever's in the back. They've got a Scrafty in the back, which isn't the best thing. Trevenant doesn't do that well, but also this Scrafty's going to be able to put in, this Stunfisk is going to be able to put in some work. Hopefully land an Earthquake. If not, maybe at least a Rock Slide or get a shield or something from it. We do get the shield here, which is kind of scary. Can we get an Earthquake off? We're not able to get it. The farmer's down. He lost quite a lot of energy there. And we're actually going to bring in our Scrafty here. We don't want Trevenant to have to deal with this. We want to catch the power-up punch and maybe get him to throw another one. Who knows? We're going to throw a power-up punch ourselves. I'm not sure what our game plan is here, but I think we're hoping that Trevenant can just sweep the back end of this game. I think we're going to let this go, and then I'd swap straight to Trevenant, yeah? Yeah, swap to Trevenant. Pressure them to swap out and clear their attack buffs just in case. We're going to get to this Seed Bomb, and this might take them out before they get a foul play off. It's going to be super close. Not quite able to take out the Scrafty. They're going to move off. We're going to have to shield this in case it's a foul play. It would do monstrous damage now that they're buffed up. And that's unfortunate because that's going to really make this matchup a lot closer. And the opponent lags. Look at that. They're lagging like hell. They're obviously trying to throw the crunch. And we got about 4 Shadow Claws through before it let them throw. And that's going to give us a massive advantage in this game. Now to land a Shadow Ball and then get to a Seed Bomb and take them out. I think that we might have just lost that game if it wasn't for that lag that the opponent looked like they had there. And that's really unfortunate. But that's sometimes the way the cookie crumbles, and GG to the opponent. So there you have it. I've had multiple positive sets with these teams in both Ultra League and Ultra League Remix. I do think it's a very strong team and encourage you to give it a try if you have access to these Pokemon and these resources. Don't forget to subscribe if you're enjoying the content and you're not already. If you're already subscribed, you're an absolute legend, and I'll catch you guys next time.